I have to start off with this 100% on Rotten Tomatoes right now. How
Wow.
does that feel? That's amazing.
It is. It's hard to take in. I mean, incredible, really. I mean, I think Curse of the Were Rabbit won a prize for, it's over here actually. I think it got 95, I think, which was,
Was that when Rotten Tomatoes was just a little baby on the internet?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now it's huge and it's
yeah,
100%. That's
That
insane,
is
Merlin. How does
amazing,
that
isn't it?
feel?
incredible,
It's
incredible.
it's a real pinch me kind of moment, isn't it? I mean, and not I, don't want to jinx it. Touch wood. Long may it continue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. It's
Awesome.
so nice. Unbelievable.
I mean the film is wonderful. It absolutely deserves
Oh,
it. I love Wallace and Gromit and I love this world. One thing I want to talk to you guys about is how the advancement in technology has helped you because but you still remain with that like claymation look. You still see the fingerprints, which I love. So can you kind of talk about weaving in advancements in technology while still making sure this feels like Wallace and Gromit?
Mm, mm.
yeah, very important. It's the heart and soul of it. Is, as you say, the clay is right at the heart of it all. For what I think what gives it the human touch, really. I mean, the animation. It is literally the human touch, but it's what gives the characters the human touch as well. The way you can be so observational. You know, the animate. We have a fine set of animators, and the way it's that because they're in contact with the character on every frame, they're somehow imbuing it with heart and soul, and it's very much the quality that we value the most in these
Mm.
films.
Yeah, yeah. I think
But we do embrace tech, though, don't we, Merlin?
we do, and that's the thing.
Like Gromit
Very
does.
very much on theme, really, with the story.
Mm.
The human touch is the most important thing, and we do have the most exquisite craftspeople working across art and puppets and lighting and everyone. They're just astonishingly talented. But at the same time, if we can't do something in front of the camera, which is where we start, the first question, can we do this in front of the camera? Can we do it practically? Can we do it in a traditional way? And if we can't, then we're immensely lucky that at Aardman we've got all of the latest and greatest production and post-production technologies at our fingertips. And really, what that means is that as filmmakers, we can tell the story that we want to tell, and we can make those the CG and the digital effects fit the world of Wallace and Gromit and not make the tail wag the dog. And I think that's a really important point, is that if we did use um, digital effects, either you couldn't see them, which that's a really good effect. You don't know it's there.
Yeah.
But if it is a really big hero piece like the water at the end of the film, that it's very important that it feels appropriate to the world, and that's not always been the case. And that's one of the places where water and effects simulation technology has got to the point where you can manipulate it to the way you want it to look rather than the way it kind of comes out the can.
Yeah. Nick, think back. Day one, you're coming up with this world. Did you ever
Mm.
imagine this is where Wallace and Gromit were going to go?
Um, I mean, story-wise, it very much so. It was very much the ambition to go here, but obviously there's a ton of stuff that's not details and
Yeah.
things that can't be worked out. You know that are going to come up along the way that need working out, and bits of knotty bits that need untying and rethinking, and structurally.
Mhm.
But in fact, originally it started as a half-hour film, really,
Oh.
just with the Norbots. Just with this is back in Curse of the Were Rabbit days. It was just kicking an idea around about Wallace inventing a smart gnome that would help Gromit in the garden with his garden chores, and then things would inevitably go wrong, but it seemed like it was lacking like some kind of darker incentive behind the gnomes, and that's where kind of years later the big idea that caused it to go into a feature film was Feathers McGraw, of course.
I love him so much. Everyone loves him.
It's
Yeah.
we've been spellbound by the reaction, of that he's coming back, and it's been incredible since that day. Really, it was such a big lightning strike. It maybe seems obvious now that he should be in the movie again, but it's funny how it took a while to reach that. And suddenly, when he came back in, the whole thing kind of went up a few gears, and the chill factor came in, and whenever it was pitched, and we developed then from there, didn't we, Melin, with Mark Burton, and it suddenly we've tried it as 2 short films for a while, and then that wasn't working structurally, and this is what I mean about a lot needs working out along the way. That it structurally seemed to work much better once we freed ourselves from that and just admitted this is a one-off. This is a one story, 3-act, 75-minute film. And we found a lot of freedom then in terms of how we structure a 3-act story arc sort of thing.
How did it feel when you could finally say it? Because how long did you keep it a secret that Feathers was coming back? I feel like probably a while.
Well, we've kept it a secret throughout the production, haven't we? We
did. We kept it. It was even within Aardman, not many people, people working on the production knew, but we tried to really keep the hat on it. We were very worried that it would get out, and even the idea of making it the first thing that we announced, we were kind of worried about. But actually, mainly because we weren't sure that people liked him that much. But actually, we were totally wrong about that. And the team behind the publicity and marketing were absolutely right. That it was the right thing to announce. And goodness me, people love to hate him, and that's been an amazing thing with social media, getting that feedback and that response. When the last big Wallace and Gromit productions were in, social media wasn't a thing, and so to get that feedback off the fans out there who are engaging, it's just astonishing.
Yeah, Nick, how did it feel when everyone was excited to see Feathers coming back?
Yeah, I mean, completely, as Melin says, it was like it was like we had announced something that everyone was expecting and thinking, why the hell haven't you done it before? Like, how did it take you so long? I mean, people in Aardman had mentioned it from time to time, but there'd never been like a good reason, like a good context or a story that, and where it didn't seem like we just kind of think we haven't any ideas and we needed to exploit a previous character, which we've never done before in a Wallace Gromit film, by the way.
Yeah.
But this seemed to be, it wasn't our intention from the beginning to bring him back. He was a solution to a big story problem, which he was it was an answer to prayer, really. That he worked wonders for the story, and we weren't planning to do a sequel as such, but he was just the perfect solution for what we needed. And we've never regretted it.
Yeah. What are the odds we see him again? What are the chances?
Who knows? He's somewhere in Yorkshire right now.
I mean, I was gonna say, I have a friend in high school that the name of her dog was Feathers. So from Feathers after, or I guess that was college, not high school. God, I'm old. But yeah, and so I know people have loved this character forever. So take me through a typical day of filming. What is that like for you guys?
Oh gosh.
Well, it's a massive studio floor. We have this like football pitch size warehouse where we shoot, which is cut into lots of sections. All how many sets we're filming at once? 40 with almost as many animators filming every day, which is why 2 of us are directing, because we need to get around every day. But,
we start the day with dailies. Sometimes it's because animation takes so long. Your dailies don't last very long, seconds worth.
Yeah.
But but also we look at tests, and that because Nick and I were doing our own thing through the day, that was the only time really as directors we got a chance to talk. And when, because we're directing two-handed, it's really vital that we both communicate wherever and whenever we can, just to so we make the same. I mean, it seems really obvious, but to make sure we make the same film. and and
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, and then
Yeah,
we just go around. We go visit all the animators, and the
yeah.
day
If
we
we get a
rinse and
minute
repeat.
shot, yeah,
Not very glamorous.
yeah. If between all those animators, we get a minute that week, then that's a really good week. So
Wow.
we're
Really?
going like clappers, yeah.
That's great. So how long did this film take to make, start to finish?
Shooting was about 15 months,
Mm.
but before that, we're like storyboarding for a year or two,
Yeah,
and
and then writing for a
writing
year before that.
for a
So
year before that.
yeah, all told, it's about 4.5 years from when I joined, and Nick had already been. Well, you and Mark had been working on it for probably 6 months at least before I joined,
Yeah.
and then about 4.5 years from when I joined
Hmm.
Nick.
Well, it was worth all the effort. I will say
Well,
that.
Thank
It
you.
turned out beautifully. I would love to know what you guys think it is about Wallace and Gromit that makes the generations and everyone around the world just love them.
Well, it's just very nice. Who knows? I know. I think it's to do with well, it's to do with the technique. I think that everyone has played with a piece of clay, and because they can see the artist behind the clay, you know, with the fingerprints, etc. I think somehow it's very accessible, a very, you know, people identify with it somehow as a material. Plus, it's we're a world of pet lovers and particularly dog lovers.
Mhm.
So I think that highly kind of floats people's boat, and everyone imagines their dog has a human personality. We probably do have one, but
What do you think, Merlin?
yeah, I think it's Nick's right. It's rooted in the technique, but it is the relationship between Wallace and Gromit, and the fact that Gromit literally is an underdog, and everyone he's often misunderstood, and I think most people have been misunderstood at some point. And because we tell the story from Gromit's point of view most of the time, it's it's Gromit being the superstar, and Gromit, you know, Wallace is a bit of an idiot most of the time. Let's be frank. He's you know, his heart's in the right place, but he's, you know, he doesn't always make the most sound decisions in his day-to-day life. And Gromit's there to pick up the pieces. And I think it's the fact that, you know, for kids, there's great slapstick. There's there's
Mhm.
there's kind of nice relationship points between them. They are like an old bickering couple who love each other but can't stand the sight of each other at the same time, you know. So it's I think Nick, well, yeah, Nick just kind of struck gold with it back in the day, and they haven't really needed to change. I mean, we've told lots of stories with them, and we've delved a little deeper into their emotional story in Vengeance Most Foul, but
Mhm.
at the core of it, that Wallace and Gromit are the same as they ever were.
I love it. Well, I would love to see more. And take a little break, take a much needed break, but
Yeah,
then give
give
us
us a
more.
minute.
Awesome. Thank you both so much for your
will
time. I
do.
really appreciate it.
Yeah.